Hello, this is Chef Smokin Bill here with you today. This is my new co-host Crystal, and we are filming our next episode of Healthy Cooking with Show Low Public Library. This project is provided by grant funding from the network of National Library of Medicine in partnership with the Charlie Cart Project and Show Low High School. We are going to be making today chicken and dumplings. As usual, the ingredients will be listed at the bottom of the screen as we're going through. Again, a reminder, I don't watch the camera as often as maybe I should because I have a tendency to not want to cut myself when we're cutting with knives. So I end up doing what we're doing. The dumplings have a little bit of just regular vegetable oil. We've got an onion. It says 1 medium onion, so we're using half of a large. 2 carrots, celery, chicken stock, flour, pre-cooked chicken, and the chicken is just cut up in small pieces, so you can dice it really small, brown it in a pan, set it aside to put in your chicken and dumplings. Peas, salt and pepper. We're using some unusual salt today. Crystal got Himalayan pink sea salt for us. And then we have canned biscuits. We're going to use those. If you don't like using canned biscuits, obviously you can make your own biscuit or dumpling dough. The instructions for this, as we go through it, we have our induction burner here. And we're going to be turning it on and getting it ready. We're going to have our oil. We're going to get our oil in our pan. And we have to speak a little louder because the induction burner we have today has a fan on it. And we want to make sure we're louder than the fan.
Thank you.
Okay. We have some onions. We're going to cut up our carrots. While I'm cutting the onion and the celery, Crystal is going to be peeling the carrots. Onions can be cut a lot of different ways. The safest way I've ever found to cut an onion, get the board slightly off the edge of your surface and to just cut the onion, start at the bottom, work your way about 2/3 or about 3/4 of the way through it. Kind of keep it level as you can. This way it keeps the knife, for most of the cutting away from your fingers. You're not getting close to your fingers. Now here at the end we will get close to our fingers. But you're going to see that if you learn to cut an onion like this, it does a couple of things. First of all, it makes it really easy to cut. Second of all, I'm not going to start crying, which is a huge benefit, not to cry when you're cutting onions, because then you get all that water in your eyes and you got to stop what you're doing. And all we're doing is chopping these items fairly small. We're going to saute them in this pan.
I heard a tip that if you get a wet rag while you're chopping an onion, that will also help with you, prevent you from crying. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
Does it work?
I've heard people say cut them underwater. What you're doing is trying to keep the juices from the onions out of the air, because that's what really creates it. So we have our onions here. That's a lot of onion. If you don't, again, the recipes are printed for you when you pick up your kits. They'll give you a copy of the recipe. If you don't like as much onion, you can leave it out. When we were making this at home, just to practice, my wife is allergic to peas, so we had to leave the peas out, and we put in green beans instead.
Ooh. I like that, interchange the vegetables like that.
Well, you can kind of do anything you want. We have a recipe, but as you learn to cook, you figure out that cooking them is really kind of up to you. What kind of flavors do you want? If you don't like celery, take it out. I'm a potato fan. Not a lot of people like potatoes as much as I do. So I would probably put some potatoes in it. I might even boil them so that they start to get really soft. It'll act as a thickener.
Carrot chef.
have to remember I can't be whistling under my breath. Now some people cut their carrots like this in little round cubes known as a rondelle. Other people will cut their carrots by cutting them in half.
When you did
creating
it at home,
strips.
did you do it like this in the...
I cut them into rondelles.
Okay.
But this is just another way to show how you end up with the same thing, just cutting them different ways. And some people like to do it this way because they don't, it's safer to them if it doesn't roll and try to cut their fingers off.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that it'll cook through more one way versus the other?
Oh, we're not done cutting them. We're just getting started.
No.
Our recipe says chop everything. Chop everything just means in fine little cubes. While I am doing this, Crystal is going to take our flour and a spoon, take some of this chicken broth and put it in there, and just make it so it's kind of a little bit thinner than paste.
A little bit thinner than paste, okay.
Yeah, we want it a little bit thinner than paste.
What do you think, Chef Bill? A little more?
A little thinner.
Okay. Might be a little too thin. How long have you been cooking?
Since I was 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
My mom actually got in trouble by one of her friends. I guess not trouble. You can't get in trouble with your friends, but her friend came over to pick her up to go to work, and I was standing at a gas stove at the age of 3
Oh, wow.
making sausage and potatoes and eggs. And she went into my mom and said, what are you doing? He's 3 years old. She had a little stool for me to stand on. And my mom was like, he knows what he's doing? I guess it kind of ended right there. But
All right. Is that the kind of consistency you're looking
Yep,
for?
we're good right there.
All right.
now what we're going to do is saute these. And if you remember from previous episodes, Chef Smokin Bill gets things everywhere because I can clean up my kitchen when I'm all done. And we just want these to soften up a little bit. Besides us having a bunch of healthy ingredients like carrots and celery and onions and peas and lean chicken that you make sure and cut all the fat off of before you cook it. It gives it color. One of the things we teach in school is that people eat with their eyes first. If you've ever been in a Mexican restaurant and somebody's ordered fajitas,
Oh, yeah.
and they walk through the restaurant with all that, with the fajita thing, and the person's right here, but they'll make the long trip all the way through the restaurant and get them. They're actually using that as a sales gimmick because then you smell it, you see it, you hear it sizzling in the pan, and you're like, I gotta have those.
Yes.
So we eat with all of our senses. I guess that's one of the bad things about COVID. some of the people that are losing their sense of taste and smell are not going to get it back.
Oh gosh, that
would be horrible.
That's terrible, yes. Speaking of smell, it's starting to smell good.
If you want to, what you can do is spray that so we make sure it cleans up easy.
You got it.
They also make liners you can put in them. We're right on schedule. Now this says salt and pepper to taste. Had me use these brand new pieces of equipment. They're not open yet. She played a trick on me. She said, watch this, I might get Chef Smokin Bill. You want to open that one?
Yes, sir.
Now, salts are another thing. They're kind of a goofy thing. They make like 27 different kinds of salt. They all taste different. So if you can
I think
pepper
I've
that.
only tried about 2. You tell me when, Chef.
Well, you got the wrong person. I'd have you put some pepper on it. It would be black. You're good.
Okay, we're good.
I like salt and pepper on things.
Okay.
Okay, the onions are starting to get translucent. The carrots are starting to soften up. Now we're going to put in that.
Okay.
This is known as, all the fat that's in here added to this flour is known as a roux. And then rather than just put the flour in it, they're adding some of the stuff to it. Yeah, just put it all in.
You got it.
Putting some of the chicken stock in it. And then you can take the rest of that chicken stock and just pour it in there.
Okay. Just little bits at a time?
Nope, just dump it.
Okay. All right.
We went from a medium heat that we were cooking the vegetables on to a much higher heat. We want this stuff to start boiling. It's the heat that actually causes the roux to thicken our chicken stock or water. If you didn't want to make chicken and dumplings, you could actually, this could be turned very easily into chicken pot pie.
I like chicken pot pie, so probably just substitute a pie crust instead of the biscuits.
Instead of the top pie crust, you might add some milk to it to give it a little creamier texture. You know, a little creamier appearance as well. Again, folks, we are using an induction burner, which requires pans that are magnetic. If you don't have a magnetic pan, it won't work. If you're doing it at home on your regular stove, then you guys will know where medium and high and all that is.
It's one of your favorite dishes to make.
Anything Mexican food or Italian.
Mexican, ooh. Now you're speaking to me.
I could eat Mexican food 3 times a day, 7 days a week, or Italian food the same way.
Yeah. What's your favorite meal of the day? Breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Yes.
All 3.
Yeah. My grandpa taught me how to eat pie too. He said he liked 2 kinds of pie. 2. Those that were browned and hot or cold.
Do you make pies?
I make pies.
What's your specialty?
Don't really have one. I make all kinds of things. I like to bake a lot. One of the things I really like to do is bake. What I'm trying to do is, if with the camera you can see that I'm trying to get these pieces. Some of the flour is not wanting to dissolve real well, so I'm just trying to get the flour to dissolve so it thickens it all. You don't want to eat your food and get a clump of flour.
No. And you get it out by the mixing or just with the heat?
Both. The heat will do it as it dissolves it and it gets it saturated, but some of it you got to smash it to get it to go away. All right. So if you want to keep stirring that.
You got it. You turn it down.
I want it hotter, so I'm turning it up.
Okay.
All right, so what we're gonna do is we have our 8x8 pan here. That's what this makes, is an 8x8 pan designed to make 8 servings. They want you to put pre-made biscuits on it. Now, like I said, if you wanted to, you could, and we're just following the recipe because that's what we're told we have to do. So if you wanted to, you could actually make your own biscuits, make them a little more healthy. These have big chunks of butter in them, so they're not exactly the most healthy kind there are. And I'm cutting them up so I can evenly space them on top of the...
On top of the dish here?
Yeah, on top of the dish.
What's another way you can make it healthier? You think like whole wheat biscuits, is that even a thing?
If you made them yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
Bread you buy in the store, even though it says whole wheat on it, if you read it, it's not as healthy as people think it is. Most of it's bleached. They pull all the nutrients out of the flour. If you had somebody that was gluten intolerant, I wouldn't be using flour. I've tried to use gluten-free flour to make a roux. Doesn't seem to work as well. So you would make a cornstarch slurry.
Cornstarch slurry?
Cornstarch slurry is 50% starch, 50% water. When the item's boiling, you whisk it in with a whisk really fast, and it'll actually thicken it up faster. This will take a little while to thicken. I think you could make this actually healthier if you found a dumpling recipe that was just flour, salt, maybe some baking soda, a little bit of milk or water, and then drop them in it instead of these. Have you put it on top? Okay. Now we're starting to boil.
Okay. Keep stirring.
Yeah.
Keep any flour from
dump our peas in it.
Okay.
And put our chicken in it.
And the recipe says peas still frozen was all right?
Yeah, peas frozen are good.
Okay.
Set this to the side.
And this chicken, you were able to pre-cook a little?
Yeah, I pre-cooked it completely.
Okay.
That's what the recipe called for. You could actually probably cook it at the same time. Try to get it in there when it was hot. But you don't have to. All right, let's see what it does. Let's see how fast it boils. Stop stirring it for a second.
Little test here.
Sure is taking its time. If you want a little more chicken, you could put more chicken in it. Some people like more chicken. I remember when I was younger, we grew up really, really poor, and my mom would make chicken soup, and there was no chicken in the soup, and she'd let a chicken walk through the soup.
Those stories. What was one of your favorite meals your mom made?
Tomato toast.
Tomato toast. Tell me about this.
Tomato toast is homemade whole wheat bread, cut really thick like Texas toast, put in a toaster and toasted and then buttered. And then you take tomato juice, put it in a pot with salt and pepper, a little bit of garlic salt or garlic powder, granulated garlic, a little bit of onion, and you boil it until it starts to thicken with butter in it, and then you pour it over the toast.
Ooh. Do you still make that today?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I'm the only person in my family that eats it.
Oh.
I like comfort foods.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of really fancy foods. The hotter you get this, the faster it thickens. That's why I keep turning this up. It's as high as it'll go. And it'll thicken better when it boils. But roux take a long time. That's why a lot of people use cornstarch. Roux can take like 40 minutes to thicken correctly.
Oh, wow.
This one's getting there. It's getting thicker.
You are the culinary arts teacher at the high school.
Yes.
What are you guys working on now?
Nothing. We're on summer break.
Oh.
So I get to sit at home and do pretty much nothing all day long.
Oh.
I'm a couch potato. I watch a lot of old movies. Okay, so we've had this has been thickening. It's starting to get thick enough. This is about where I would like it because it is going to go in the oven. And in the oven it will thicken some more because it is cooked at 400 degrees Fahrenheit until your dumplings get done.
I'm going to take that. Okay.
Might be one.
Okay. I can see how you mean like dumplings. That definitely does look like it. Chicken and dumplings. The official is chicken and dumpling casserole.
Yeah, it's officially known as chicken and dumpling casserole.
All right. Thank you.
So this would go in the oven. It bakes. It doesn't have a specific baking time. It bakes until the top of the dumplings turn brown. It doesn't say like 20 minutes or 15 minutes. It bakes until the top of the dumplings turn brown. Now, Crystal, if you could take this one, set it to the side.
Yes.
We'll put it in our oven and bake it later.
Okay.
And then we have one that we've already baked for the purposes of the show. And this one here, I just left the biscuits whole. We have a serving spoon here.
It's a nice quick meal for
They smoothed out instead of becoming brown. You can see they're kind of still got that doughy texture to them like a dumpling has.
cheers.
That's good.
Thank you for joining us today. Healthy Cooking with Show Low Public Library. Thank you, Chef Smokin Bill.